quite entertaining and very informative. Yeah, this Chongate was the title of his yeah. So thank you for that. And I also attended the CTE showcase at the Imperial Fairgrounds. Very proud of our students, of our staff, the great work that they're doing, the electrical bug that was there. Very proud. Culinary, I was able to have for dinner their barbecue ribs with coleslaw. They took the opportunity to do a little bit of fundraising, and so very proud of our kiddos. And Janet, congratulations. Very well deserving for that, and I'm looking forward to 2 celebrations here locally and in San Diego. Congratulations. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you.
Mr. Avina.
Well, Janet, again, congratulations. Very well deserved. I remember as I was working here as a principal, every time I called Janet for some help, she went above and beyond. Thank you so much, and you're still doing so. I'll never forget that. Thank you. A lot of great things have been mentioned. Mr. Castillo, you mentioned pride. Yes, a lifelong citizen here at Calexico, graduated class of '93. Mr. Jorge. Very proud. There's a lot of pride here in Calexico. Once a bulldog, always a bulldog. But now with these new facilities, beautiful buildings, it just brings even more pride. And all the things that are happening here in Calexico, it makes people very hopeful for a much greater future for the district. We're good right now, but it's gonna be better. It feels like it. So thank you to everybody. Again, thank you, Mr. Horton, and your team for everything you do. Very excited. Can't wait to go see those buildings. I'm jealous that I didn't get to have all the fun you guys had. Went to the buildings, we went to the Saturday event with parents. I couldn't. And when I was finally, okay, I'm gonna go to the astronomy night. That one I can. It was canceled. Mother Nature canceled it because of the wind. So, but I'll get to some of these events. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, by the time that we get down here, right, everybody else said everything. So I really appreciate everything you guys covered. Ms. Burgos, congratulations. Want to thank Measure Q members and Citizen Oversight Committee for their presentation today. Ms. Horton, well done. And also for meeting the challenges on Proposition Q, because I think it's a lot of times, we put the money out there, or the money's out there for the projects, right? And one of the things that you explained at the beginning is we want to be cohesive, we want to work together, right? And sometimes when that doesn't happen, it creates a lot of delay on projects. So thank you guys very much for all the work that you guys do. We're coming to an end on the winter sports, so next couple of weeks you'll start hearing who made it to CIF, who didn't, who's advancing and all that stuff. So we'll have some news coming up, from our teams. I just wanted to make sure that I thank all the coaches from all the different sports for the time that they put in, and the additional time once CIS starts kicking in. So because it gets a little bit more intense and it's a lot more work. It takes a lot of time from their original work, to go and compete and take the kids to competitions. And eventually we'll have the city and Calexico Unified School District presentation, into some of the stuff that we'll be working with the city. Okay, thank you. We will move to item E, action items, consideration and action approval of the following items. Item number 1, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and BMX Freestylers for Cesar Chavez Elementary School perfect attendance assembly.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion by Ms. Calderon.
I'll second.
Have a second by Mr. Arellano. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes 5-0. This place gets hot and then it gets cold. And then no, you're fine, because then we'll be freezing. Item number 2, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and budget driving school for professional services for online drivers educational course for Calexico High School CTE law enforcement students. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make a motion.
Have a motion by Mr. Arellano.
I second that.
Have a second by Mr. Aviña. Any questions? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Item number 3, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Blue Dot Education for Engineering Entrepreneur Project at Calexico High School. Do I have a motion for this item?
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion by Mr. Castillo. I'll second that motion. Have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Item number 4, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Paragon Inspection Services Limited Liability Corporation for Division of the State of Architecture, the DSA Inspector Services
I need
for
cla- I need-
for the,
Oh, excuse me.
I'm sorry, I was just gonna finish reading. Yeah, for the, I'm gonna start again.
I'm sorry.
Agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Paragon Inspection Services Limited Liability Corporation for Division of the State Architects DSA Inspector Services for the Energy Efficiency Program and Cesar Chavez Elementary, Dual Elementary, Calexico High School, 9th grade campuses.
Just a quick question. Under fiscal impacts, financial impact, it says Source Energy Modernization Fund, and then in parentheses, it says district portion. What does that mean exactly?
If I could ask Mr. La Torre to address that question at the podium.
Yes, absolutely. So for the Energy Modernization Program, we set up 3 new resources. One of the resources is money that the school district is going to be putting in. This is the district's portion, and then we expect to get reimbursement from different grants for these funds, like the CalShape grant is one of the examples of it. The Inflation Reduction Act would be another example of it. And then we set up a second one, and that's through is for the Imperial County Air Pollution Control Board. There was an award of $2.176 million. And so the money that is under the bus and EV modernization, those expenditures are being handled under that resource. And then we are going to be reimbursed by that grant. And then the third one is the loan that we have with Bank of America. And so all of the HVAC units that are the lien for that loan are being paid through that, and then we are getting the money from the bank, and then we're paying to the vendor.
So it's a pot for air pollution, a pot for the loan that we got.
Correct.
And if you don't have that figure right now, that's fine. But our portion, what we're putting out of our general fund, what's that total?
I don't
Okay,
have
yeah,
it on top of my
that's
mind,
fine.
but I can certainly
That's
get that
fine.
information for you. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. La Torre.
Thank you. Question has been asked and answered. Do I have a motion for this item?
A motion.
A motion by Mr. Aviña. Will you get a second?
I'll second the motion.
Second by Mr. Castillo. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Item number 5, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Landmark Consultant Incorporated for laboratory of record services for the energy efficiency program. This, just real quick, this item also has the district portion of it, and I think that's part of the answer for it. So I make the motion that we approve this item. We'll get a second.
I'll second.
Made the motion, second by Mr. Arellano. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Item number 6, Calexico Unified School District and Rams oil change for on-call auto repairs as needed for the White Fleet. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
A motion for approval by Ms. Calderon,
I second.
second by Mr. Aviña. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Item number 7, addendum to the agreement renewal between Calexico Unified School District and Imperial Valley Regional Occupational Program for core career technical education support services for 3 school years, 2023 through 2026. Do I have a motion for that item?
A motion for that one.
A motion by Mr. Aviña. I'll second that item. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes 5-0. Slowly. Item number 9, award of request for proposal. Number 8. Oh, it skipped me. My bad. Item number 8, memorandum of understanding between Calexico Unified School District and Imperial County Office of Education, Alternative Education to participate in the Barber Academy Career and Technical Education, CTE, course at Calexico Academy School.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Arellano. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Calderon. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes 5-0. And here's item number 9. Award of request for proposal and agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Patrol Protective Services for security patrol services. This was an item that was tabled, I believe, from last meeting for a presentation. So if we could please get an update, Mr. De La Torre, on
Sure. And specifically, as Mr. La Torre walks up to the podium, the question specifically was there were 5 proposals for this contract. The question was, we know that Patrol Protective Services is a local company here in the Imperial Valley. They're also the company that we have been using for multiple years already. And the question was, are any of the other companies who submitted a proposal a local company? Well, I'll let Mr. La Torre address the answer to that. If there's a local company or if they have an office in the Imperial Valley.
Absolutely. That was actually one of the questions that we had in the interviews. This is the only company that is a local company. All of the other companies are not from the Imperial Valley. When we asked that question, all of them said that if they were awarded, they may open an office here and they may hire locally, right? That's to the extent that they answer the question. But this is the only local company that there is from the 5 respondents.
So none of the other companies have staff that are already here working for other clients of theirs?
There's one company that have a contract in the north end. I do not know if they reside here, but they don't have an office here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And upon asking, about how would that work, they answered very similarly that if they were to receive this contract, they would consider, is that something we could force them to do, or that wasn't part of the requirements, but that they would consider it. But to respond back to the board's request for information, this is the only local company. The other 4 are from outside of the county.
Mhm. Well, given that this contract is a 3-year contract and they began providing services, the current company, Patrol Protective Services, they began in January, and their proposal, along with the others, included a monthly and an annual per calendar year. So I would like to motion to approve them up until December of 2025 and bring them back before December for a possible renewal for the following calendar year. That's my motion.
I'll
for Patrol
second that
Protective
motion.
Services.
I have a motion by Ms. Calderon, second by myself, Contreras. Is there any other questions?
I'll just add, I think part of the tabling is to give us time to look at it, review it, and I think we did that, so thank you, for giving us the opportunity to do that. And again, looking it over, and as was said, and even that local vendor had a chance to check and talk to other districts, and they've had good experiences. But I think I would agree if there's questions here to try them out on an annual basis. I think I'm in favor of that, so that's my comment.
Thank you. Any other comment? No. We'll move to for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Item number 10, approval of the 2025-2026 instructional school calendar. Is there any questions on the current calendar?
And seeing the calendar, again, noting that all bargaining units did agree and sign off, I'll make a motion to approve.
I second that motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Castillo, second by Ms. Calderon. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 And
Aye.
congratulations for having it in February. That's really good. I know there's a lot of work put into it, the unions, cabinet, so thank you for that.
And I'd like to thank Mr. Guerrero and our HR
Yes.
department and our ACT and CSCA bargaining units for coming together and working that out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion passes 5-0. Item number 11, adoption of new job description for community facilitator. Just like a brief description, Mr. Romero, if you could please do that.
Yes, Mr. Guerrero, if you could. Yeah.
Guerrero, my bad.
This is as he's coming up. I'll share that this is for our new community schools grant schools. This is Rockwood, Dual, Willie Moreno, and Maines, and this community schools facilitator is part of the grant application for this money. So when we wrote the grant, we included this position for the grant, and that's how it was approved. So
Well, good evening, Board, President Contreras, Superintendent Jimenez, members of the public. So just like Mr. Jimenez just mentioned, community school facilitator is part of the grant that each school received. This particular position will be assigned to each school that received the grant, and they're there to facilitate, just like the title says, to facilitate the services that the school would be providing our students. The idea is that this person would be working under our community school director, Mrs. Limon, and in collaboration with the FRC, services would be provided based on student needs. And this person would be the point person at each site.
I have a question. I was reviewing the job description, and I know that this grant is popular. We're not the only school district that's implementing the community schools program. At my place of work, we also have this position. So when I was reading the job description, and I was a little surprised towards the end that it requires a teacher's credential, when this position from the districts that I know and my place of work, it's a classified position. Can you explain further why we decided to make it a certificated and require credentials and years of experience in classroom and years of experience as a counselor?
Absolutely, absolutely. So this position is modeled, right? It's mirrored by two other positions across the state, right? Including Oakland, including LA. There's other districts, just like you mentioned, that have the same grant, and their positions are classified. So this position can be either be classified or certificated. Right, in this particular case, we decided to go with a certificated position. We feel that the person who's running, who's facilitating or running the community school at the site should have knowledge of not only the social emotional needs of the students, but also the academic needs of the students, right? When you think about community schools, right, you're thinking about a wraparound system, right? You're thinking about resources that we're gonna provide, that we're going to facilitate for the families, not only resources for the social emotional needs of the family or the economical needs of the family or the medical needs of the family, but in many cases the resources for the academic needs of the family. So you may have a family who receives resources or receives services through the community school grant or through the community schools, whose children may be absent, may be habitually absent, right? Or whose students may be falling behind or may be academically behind. And we felt that having a certificated person, whether it's a counselor, right, someone with a PPS credential, or a teacher with a significant amount of years of experience, would facilitate that, right? Not only would they be able to facilitate the academic part of the community school services, they would also be able to facilitate the social, emotional, economic, and other services that could be provided through community schools.
So if this job description passes tonight, I'm assuming that the plan is to immediately start recruiting. Will it be recruited with depending on funds availability, given that it's going to be funded with that grant?
Absolutely, and so we're already funded for the 4 schools that we applied for. So 4 schools, 2 years ago, we initially applied for the planning grant, which we received. The monies for the planning grant, and then our team went to work on the planning for community schools. And then the second year, that's when we applied for the implementation grant, and that's when we received the $5.7 million for those 4 schools. And so that money had already been allocated, and so we're ready to move forward. With these positions, we're going to make a very, very strong effort to hire within. And that's going to be our major focus, is to try to promote from within our school district folks who know Calexico, who know our community, who have been here in Calexico. As Mr. Guerrero was stating, sometimes with community schools, when you're working with wraparound services, sometimes you're dealing with very, very sensitive items, right? You might be dealing with a child who might be suicidal, or you have a teen pregnancy, or a death in the family, with some trauma involved in the family situation. And so and I'm personally familiar with one of the beginnings of community schools in California in my previous districts, and sometimes the cases are very, very challenging, very difficult, very sad. And so, we just took everything into consideration. If we could get people with PPS credentials who could provide those wraparound services, the trauma-informed decision making, the social-emotional learning aspect, and connecting that to academics and student achievement. If you could think of a child who is grieving the death of a parent or of a sibling, or someone who just found out that they've been diagnosed with cancer, or these community schools, they work with a lot of positive and celebrations and coordinating services, but there's also that other aspect of dealing and supporting families through very difficult situations, and coordinating those services with mental health, behavioral health, grieving counseling, or whatnot. So our intent is to hire as soon as we can, bring in these folks, and start providing these services at our 4 schools. And the schools are ready to go. They're ready for this position.
And our plan is to expand this to the other school sites?
So that's what I shared in my comments,
Yes.
that we just submitted. The grant deadline was Friday, and I'm excited to share that we hit the press the enter button prior to the deadline.
We'll know by when?
I believe it's sometime in April, May.
And it's to cover the rest of the schools or another section?
The rest of the schools,
The rest
all
of
7
the schools,
schools.
7 for 7, okay.
Mhm. Yeah. And so these positions are completely, fully grant funded. As is part of Ms. Limon's position, and so we're very excited, and we're really, crossing our fingers for the other 7 applications, and that would cover Calexico High School, Aurora High School, and all the rest of our schools.
Thank you. Do I have a motion for approval?
I motion.
I'll second that motion. Having no more questions, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Item number 12, resolution declaring the futility of public bidding for baked goods for the Food Services Department. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that motion. Motion by Ms. Calderon, second by Mr. Contreras. Mr. Arellano,
Yes.
Mr. Castillo,
Yes.
Ms. Calderon,
Yes.
Mr. Aviña,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion passes 5-0. Resolution, my bad. Item number 13, resolution regarding disposition of surplus assets, non-assets, technical equipment at the Family Resource Center.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Have a motion by Mr. Castillo for approval, second by Ms. Calderon. Mr. Arellano,
Yes.
Mr. Castillo,
Yes.
Ms. Calderon,
Yes.
Mr. Aviña,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion passes 5-0. Item number 14, resolution authorizing cooperative purchasing for technology, hardware, software, and related services from Apple Incorporated.
I have a comment. Yeah. So I'm glad that our students are getting iPads, right? It's a good quality device. I just want to hope that our students, our teachers in class, they have the training so to implement these iPads and get the most out of it. I know that iPads allow kids to engage in learning in ways that they couldn't otherwise. So just want to say that hopefully they get the training because they're expensive. So they're like you have a Ferrari at home and you don't drive up above 30. Why have a Ferrari, right? So we have some good devices that can enhance learning in ways that.
My son graduated last June along with your kiddo. And he's still using his device at IVC now.
Yeah.
So very grateful for that.
Right. And at a
the
future,
training, it's very important to have that training so
Yeah.
they can.
and at a
maximize
future
use.
board meeting, we will share with the board our plan on our technology plan on making some changes with our devices for which is still going to be really good, and I think it's going to really fit the need of our grade level spans, high school, junior high, and elementary schools. So we'll be sharing more information with the board on that.
Thanks.
Any more comments? Do I have a motion for this item?
Emotion.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mr. Aviña, second by Ms. Calderon. Mr. Arellano,
Yes.
Mr. Castillo,
Yes.
Ms. Calderon,
Yes.
Mr. Aviña,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes. Motion passes 5-0.
We're going into
Closed session G.
yeah, we're going into announcing the convening.
We'll go to item G, announcement of convening to closed session. And we don't
Do we
have
need
to
item
stay on
F?
time, right?
Item F?
No public comments?
Item F.
No public
No,
public
not until
comments.
we come back. We'll go into public session now, into closed session.
Closed session.